All right, Marine. Today we're diving deep into MCDP 1-3, tactics.
Your playbook for success out there.
You've probably seen this manual.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going beyond just skimming the surface. We're going to unpack the core concepts.
Absolutely.
See how they translate to real-world scenarios you might encounter.
That's right. MCDP 1-3 isn't just some theory, it's a distillation of lessons learned.
Hard one.
Hard won, yeah, from centuries of warfare.
Wow.
Tailored specifically for how Marines operate.
Okay.
Think of it as a roadmap.
To understanding.
Yeah, to understanding how Marines think and fight. A guide to developing that tactical edge that sets you apart.
So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do it.
The manual starts with two quotes that really caught my eye.
Right.
One from General Gray, talking about the importance of knowing the why behind what you do. And then there's Sir William Slim.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a little more, shall we say, direct.
To put it mildly, yeah, you've got General Gray emphasizing thoughtful execution. And Sir William Slim cutting straight to the heart of combat.
Yeah.
Two very different styles, but both essential for a successful Marine leader.
And this contrast actually leads perfectly into the MCDP 1-3 definition of tactics.
Okay.
The art and science of winning engagements and battles.
Yeah.
Why both art and science?
Because effective tactics require a balance of creativity and technical mastery.
I see.
The art is about applying your knowledge and experience in unpredictable situations.
Got it.
It's about knowing when to flank. When to ambush, how to use terrain to your advantage.
Okay.
It's that instinctive ability to adapt.
And outmaneuver your opponent.
Exactly.
So you've got the playbook, but you also need to know when to call an audible, right?
Exactly. Adapt to the situation on the fly.
Adapt.
But that art of improvisation
Yeah.
is useless without the solid foundation of the science of tactics.
Right.
And that's where mastery of essential skills comes in: marksmanship, navigation, communication, all those technical aspects that make a unit operate like a well-oiled machine.
So it's not enough to just be a creative thinker.
No.
You need to have the technical proficiency to back it up.
Precisely.
Okay.
Think of it this way. You could have the most brilliant tactical plan.
Yeah.
But if your Marines can't hit their targets
Uh-huh.
or communicate effectively, it all falls apart.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, how does all of this fit into the bigger picture
Okay.
of strategy and campaigning?
All right, so strategy is the overall plan,
Yeah.
the big picture.
Got it.
Campaigning is about getting you and your forces to the fight.
Right.
But tactics are what you use to win once you're there.
So strategy gets you to the fight, tactics win the fight.
You got it.
And MCDP 1-3 dives into how to do that effectively.
Right.
Specifically from a Marine Corps perspective.
Right. And one of the things the manual emphasizes is that tactical victories,
even small ones,
build upon each other
to
larger objective. It's like a chain reaction.
Right.
Where each successful engagement weakens the enemy and brings you closer to overall victory.
That reminds me of the 1st Marine Division in Desert Storm.
Yeah, great example.
They didn't just focus on destroying every Iraqi unit they came across.
Right.
They targeted the enemy's will to fight.
Yes.
Which ultimately contributed to a much quicker and decisive victory.
That's a great example.
Right.
They understood that breaking the enemy's morale could be just as effective as physical destruction.
Right.
Especially in that specific context, it all comes back to choosing the right tactic for the situation.
Which is a key theme.
Which is key, yeah, a key theme in MCDP 1-3.
Speaking of choosing the right tactic,
yeah.
One thing that struck me while reading MCDP 1-3 is how much it stresses the chaotic
absolutely.
and unpredictable nature of combat.
Combat is rarely a neat and tidy affair.
Yeah.
It's messy, unpredictable, and full of what the manual calls friction. Those unexpected factors that can throw a wrench into even the best laid plans.
Yeah, the example of the Teruel landing in 1943 really brought that home for me.
Absolutely.
Just imagine the chaos of that amphibious assault.
Yeah.
Disrupted landings, heavy casualties, communication breakdowns.
Right.
It's a stark reminder that battle is rarely what you expect it to be.
Right. And the manual quotes a war correspondent who described the Battle of Iwo Jima as a nightmare in hell.
Wow.
Which paints a pretty vivid picture.
Yeah.
These accounts highlight why MCDP 1-3 stresses that combat is a complex system, driven by human factors, making it impossible to fully predict or control.
So how does a Marine operate effectively in such a chaotic environment?
Well, that's where...
How do you plan for the unpredictable?
That's where MCDP 1-3's emphasis on adaptability comes in.
Right.
It's about being able to think on your feet, adjust your plans, and exploit opportunities as they arise.
Okay.
Remember Sergeant John Basilone at Guadalcanal? One man holding his position against wave after wave of enemy attacks.
Wow.
His actions, his individual initiative, turned the tide of that battle.
So even amidst chaos, individual Marines can make a huge impact
Huge.
by staying flexible and seizing those crucial moments.
Absolutely. MCDP 1-3 emphasizes that while you can't control everything on the battlefield,
Yeah.
you can control how you react and adapt to the constantly changing situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
And of course, we can't talk about the modern battlefield
Okay.
without discussing technology.
Of course not.
MCDP 1-3 acknowledges that technology is a double-edged sword.
How so?
It can enhance our capabilities,
Right.
but also create new challenges.
Yeah, I can see that.
On one hand, we have incredible advancements in communication and intelligence gathering.
Right.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
our adversaries are also using technology to their advantage.
So how do you balance the benefits of technology with the potential risks? How do you adapt your tactics accordingly?
Well, MCDP 1-3 emphasizes the importance of understanding how technology impacts the battlefield.
Okay.
We have to constantly adapt our tactics to leverage the advantages while mitigating the risks. Think about the evolution of warfare.
Okay.
In World War I, the machine gun forced armies into static trench warfare.
Right.
But then in World War II, tanks and airplanes brought back maneuverability and increased the pace of operations.
So technology constantly changes the equation,
It does.
forcing us to rethink how we fight.
Exactly. And if we look at more recent conflicts like Vietnam, Somalia, or even the fight against ISIS, we see a shift towards more decentralized, networked warfare where enemies are often embedded within civilian populations.
So the lines between combatants and non-combatants get blurred, making it even more difficult to apply traditional tactics.
Right.
It sounds like that friction we talked about earlier is amplified in these situations.
That's right. And MCDP 1-3 predicts that future battlefields will likely be even more complex.
Oh, wow.
And chaotic. We can expect to face adversaries who use unconventional tactics, exploit technology, and operate in environments where traditional approaches might not be effective.
So it all points back to the need for adaptability and critical thinking.
Absolutely.
Which seems to be a core theme in MCDP 1-3.
The manual emphasizes that Marines need to be prepared to think on their feet, adjust their plans, and overcome whatever obstacles they encounter.
Okay.
It's about having that mental agility to make decisions in dynamic situations.
So it's not enough to just memorize the manual.
No.
You have to internalize the principles and apply them creatively in the field.
Precisely. And speaking of how Marines should approach combat, MCDP 1-3 presents two contrasting views: the deterministic and the probabilistic.
Okay, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Can you break those down for me?
Sure. The deterministic view sees combat as a predictable system.
Okay.
You analyze the factors, calculate the moves, and predict the outcome. It's like a game of chess where you can control every variable.
So basically, if you have more firepower and better positioning, you're guaranteed to win.
That's the idea. But MCDP 1-3 pushes back on that notion.
Okay.
It highlights the probabilistic view, which acknowledges that combat is inherently unpredictable.
Right.
There are always unexpected events, human reactions, and those friction elements that you can't fully account for.
So it's more like a football game where you have a game plan, but need to adjust based on what the other team does.
Exactly. And this difference in perspective has a huge impact on how you approach combat.
Okay.
A deterministic view might lead to rigid, centralized command structures, whereas a probabilistic view encourages decentralized decision-making and adaptability.
So which view does MCDP 1-3 align with?
It explicitly favors the probabilistic view.
Okay.
The manual states that leaders who try to rigidly control every aspect of combat are bound to fail. It emphasizes that you need to empower Marines at all levels to make decisions based on the situation on the ground.
So adaptability is key.
Remember, adaptability is key.
That makes sense now with all this talk about adaptability and the unpredictable nature of combat.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific tools MCDP 1-3 gives Marines to navigate this chaotic environment? What are the key tactical concepts we need to master?
Well, the manual highlights several key concepts: achieving a decision, gaining advantage, being faster, adapting, cooperating, and exploiting success.
Okay, I see those terms listed.
Yeah.
But what do they actually mean in practice?
Each concept has its nuances.
Okay.
But they all revolve around this idea of creating favorable conditions for yourself and disrupting the enemy's ability to fight effectively.
Got it.
For instance, achieving a decision.
Yeah.
Doesn't always mean annihilating the enemy.
Right.
It could mean disrupting their command and control, seizing a key piece of terrain,
Oh, okay.
or breaking their morale to the point where they can no longer resist.
So it's about achieving your objective
Yes.
in the most efficient and effective way possible,
Yeah.
given the circumstances.
Precisely. And MCDP 1 to 3 emphasizes that these concepts are not meant to be used in isolation.
Right.
It's about understanding how to combine them, how to orchestrate them, like a conductor leading an orchestra.
So a skilled Marine leader knows how to use these concepts in concert to achieve the desired effect on the battlefield.
Think of it like a musician mastering individual notes before they can play a complex symphony.
Okay.
You need to understand the individual elements before you can combine them into something truly effective.
Right.
But remember, these are just some of the key concepts from the manual.
Okay.
MCDP 1 to 3 has a wealth of information and insights that go beyond what we can cover here today.
So it's like a foundation upon which to build your tactical expertise.
Right.
It gives you the framework,
Yes.
the tools, and the mindset to excel in any situation you might face as a Marine.
Exactly. It's about developing that tactile intuition. That ability to read the battlefield, make sound judgments, and lead your Marines with confidence and skill.
And as you read through MCDP 1-3, don't just try to memorize it.
Right.
Think about how those concepts apply to real-world situations.
That's a great point. MCDP 1-3 is meant to be a living document, something you constantly refer back to and apply in different contexts.
Okay.
It's about developing that tactical mindset, that ability to assess a situation, break it down, and find the best solution, whether you're leading a fire team or planning a complex operation.
It sounds like MCDP 1-3 is as much about leadership and problem solving as it is about specific tactics.
Exactly. It encourages you to think critically, to question assumptions, to find creative solutions to complex problems.
Okay.
These are skills that will serve you well.
Not just on the battlefield.
Not just on the battlefield, but in any leadership role you take on in the Marine Corps or beyond.
So MCDP 1-3 isn't just a manual for combat.
No.
It's a framework for developing those essential leadership qualities that Marines are known for.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating that warrior spirit.
Right.
That drive to overcome obstacles and achieve your mission no matter what.
Yeah.
And as you progress in your career, you'll find that the principles in MCDP 1-3 will continue to be relevant.
I see.
Whether you're leading a squad, a platoon, or even a larger unit.
Well, Marine, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But this is just the beginning of your journey with MCDP 1-3.
Absolutely.
The real learning happens when you take these concepts and apply them in your own training and experiences.
Keep studying the manual, discuss it with your fellow Marines.
Right.
And most importantly, think about how you can use these principles to become a more effective leader and a more adaptable, resilient Marine.
Because at the end of the day, that's what being a Marine is all about.
Yeah.
Being ready for anything.
Absolutely.
Being able to adapt and overcome. And always striving to be the best you can be.
And MCDP 1 to 3 provides the roadmap to get you there.
Right.
It's a valuable resource, a guide, a reminder of what it means to be a thinking warrior, a leader, a Marine.
So keep learning, keep pushing yourself, and never stop honing those tactical skills.
Absolutely.
Because the challenges of tomorrow will demand the best from each and every one of you.
Until next time, stay sharp, Marine.